Alright, everybody. The war, I shouldn't even call it a war. It's more of a genocide Israel is committing against the Palestinian people with disproportionate pushback from Hamas. No support for Hamas. In fact, Hamas. They have recently been caught lining up trucks along the roads to prevent Palestinians from evacuating from the death zone Israel has declared, thus keeping Palestinians from getting to a place where they won't be killed when the timer drops down and Israel glasses that quarter of Gaza. So fuck Hamas. No love for Hamas whatsoever, but also no love for the IDF and the fact that they are, you know, just kind of destroying thousands, millions of people's homes at this point and killing countless, mostly children. Remember, nearly half of the population of Gaza and the West Bank are children, like under 14, under 15 years old, mostly kids. So the fact that there is so much overwhelming, bizarre neo-lib support for this blatant genocide is really weird, especially when it's coming from people who, up until now, have been known for their aggressively progressive takes, even to the extent of annoying most left-wing people. So we're actually going to start by going over some takes that popular celebrities that are not very well liked by conservatives, and honestly not even well liked by the left, and what their takes have been on this whole issue, because it's really surprising. We're going to start off with serial joke thief and universally insufferable pop feminist Amy Schumer, who put out this Instagram reel with a Star of David that reads the following: "First they came for LGBTQ, and I stood up because love is love. Then they came for immigrants, and I stood up because families belong together. Then they came for the black community, and I stood up because Black Lives Matter. Then they came for me, but I stood alone because I am a Jew." There's never been more and a better reason to hate Amy Schumer. She's really surpassed every level of hate that like the internet could possibly have for her. Of course, the like tying together of like being Israeli or pro-Israel and being Jewish is quite anti-Semitic. I mean, that you don't have to be like Jewish to be pro-Israel or vice versa, but it is a very desperate attempt to try to make it seem like if you're not in favor of Israel as a country existing, then you must be against its people existing. So really fucked up stuff. Then we've got a real bizarre one from another classically hated celebrity, Justin Bieber, who, I shit you not, posted a screenshot of an entire block of the Gaza Strip destroyed by the IDF and captioned it "Praying for Israel." It really doesn't get better than that, does it, chat? This is beyond parody. Can you imagine showing an image of a country or a city or a land that is being attacked, that has been attacked, posting it and claiming it is the land, it is from a picture of the land that is doing the attacking? Once again, if you needed any more reason to hate Justin Bieber, there you go. The final example I have for you, and I'm sure some of my chatters will be able to link other examples of popular celebrities that are engaging in this bullshit, but the final example, I feel, is one that may disappoint a lot of you. Brace yourself. This is actually a quite beloved celebrity by a lot of people who has come out staunchly pro-Israel. Quentin Tarantino visits IDF base to show support for troops. Oscar-winning director who is married to Daniela Pick and has been living in Israel in recent years arrived to show his support for the IDF soldiers in the war against Hamas. Apparently, Mark Hamill and Tara Strong are also pro-Zionist and pro-Israel as well. That's sad to hear. Tara Strong is way worse about it? Oh, that's rough. For those that don't know, Tara Strong's like a really popular voice actress. So is Mark Hamill, but he's known for being Luke Skywalker in Star Wars too. Well, fucking great. Now I can't watch any Tarantino movies anymore. Yes, Tarantino is going out to support troops that are actively committing a genocide. He's going out in person to like, show support to troops that are just bombing the shit out of civilian infrastructure as we speak. Hollywood director and Oscar winner Quentin Tarantino visited Friday an IDF base to express his support for the soldiers. Tarantino has been residing in Israel in recent years and has made a clear show of solidarity with the brave men— this is a pro-Israel website, by the way— with the brave men and women of the IDF following the recent terrorist attacks by Hamas in which over 1,300 Israelis were murdered. In recent days, there has been a noticeable surge in the involvement of global film industry figures in supporting of Israel. Alongside the individual posts on social media, a powerful statement was released Thursday, signed by over 700 artists and influencers. This statement showcases substantial support for Israel. Notable signatories include Chris Pine, Mom Bialik, Liev Schreiber, Gal Gadot, Jerry Seinfeld, Michael Douglas, Amy Schumer, Jamie Lee Curtis, Ryan Murphy, and many more. The nightmare that Israelis have feared for decades has become a reality as Hamas terrorists infiltrated Israeli cities and towns. The statement by the Creative Community for Peace reads, quote, under the cover of thousands of rockets fired indiscriminately into civilian populations. What about white phosphorus just kind of doused over civilian populations? What about that? A little curious on what the opinion is on that. Under the cover of thousands of rockets and fired indiscriminately into civilian populations, Hamas murdered and kidnapped innocent men, women, and children. Quote, they kidnapped and murdered infants and the elderly. That is true from Hamas. They raped women and mutilated their bodies. They paraded their bodies through the streets and on social media and cowardly attacked the Supernova Music Festival, bringing death and destruction to an event celebrating friendship and love. So, shit tons of celebrities have come out as staunchly pro-Israel on this, many that you probably love and enjoy. And, yeah, we're in an era where a large amount of progressive, virtue-signaling, liberal celebrities are coming out as basically pro-genocide. It's very possible that in the coming months, the death toll in Gaza is going to raise into the tens of millions. Well, there's only a bit over, like, close to 20 million people in Gaza, but it's going to get up above 10 million if things keep going along this rate, and Israel doesn't slow back their attacks, because they are just flattening entire blocks of Gaza at this point, and have cordoned off segments of the land that they've designated as evacuation zones they're just going to wipe out. Zan, Gaza's population is 2 million? Isn't it, like, what's the total population of the region with that Palestinians live in that area? Because Gaza's not the only thing, right? Because there's, obviously, it cuts off with Israeli territory, and then there's another area as well. Yeah, it's the West Bank. So what's the total population? Because it's really large. Like, the total population put together. 5.7? 2.7? Wait, why am I getting multiple mixed numbers? I've heard, like, up to, like 7.5 or 17 million. I hate numbers. I hate having to remember numbers. Population numbers are hard. I might be remembering how many people live in France. 17 million. That might not be right. I don't know. There's not 17 million. Okay. Well, the less people, the more likely that the death toll is going to be proportionately massive and considerable as a damn near, like, cultural genocide. Well, not cultural genocide in the sense that we generally think about it, but an entire, like, group and culture and part of the world getting genocided. And the fact that so many liberal, not politicians, but celebrities, like these people who've gained so much prominence in the, you know, in our culture for being these upstanding, virtue-signaling liberal progressives who are always making tweets and posts about how they support these, you know, civil rights causes, are now actively, you know, championing what very well may be a genocide of, as chat's saying, nearly 6 million people. Weird. Xander Hall, displacement counts as genocide. You're clear to call it a genocide under international law. No. There's no question about whether or not it's a genocide. when I say a cultural genocide, I'm trying to find the right word to describe, like, what like, type of genocide is it? I saw Israel told Palestinians to walk a 5-hour route. Yeah, like, apparently the evacuation routes are also getting cut off by Hamas, though. Like, Hamas isn't allowing Palestinian civilians to escape because they want to entrap them in and being forced to fight, is my guess. Hamas is not, like, in favor of or championing the people of Palestine. They're not helping them. They're hurting them as a way of gaining more... Like, the more people Israel hurts in Palestine, the more support Hamas gets. It is in Hamas's best interest to maximize Palestinian civilian casualties. So yeah, both groups. The IDF and fuck Hamas. Oh no, it's blatant genocide, yes. I'm just trying to... I was trying to think of what prefix for the type of genocide it is. These actors are not evil, they're just not politically. Well... Many of them, like, some of the examples given are celebrities that literally live in Israel. When you literally live in Israel and you've moved, like, from the States to live in Israel, you're aware of the state of politics in that part of the world. You know what's going on. There's just, yeah. Just saying, in case my previous messages were missed, it would be really nice if, pretty smart folks on the left could take just a second and consider how out of the loop most of the actors really are, how much info they're fed, and how more or less any statements can be construed as statements of their agents instead. Yeah, that's definitely a good case. What I find interesting is how this will look in a year. What is the death toll going to look like in a year? And how are all of these big-time celebrities who came out basically in favor of it going to look? Mark Hamill walked it back a little. Yeah. Hell, a month even? It doesn't need to be a year, yeah. Bad no matter what, yeah. Because, like, there's no way this conflict and the, like, whole, discourse around Israel and Palestine doesn't end up swinging the other way in the cultural zeitgeist. And everybody who was defending Israel ends up looking really bad in hindsight. It's going to be Ukraine dramas all over again. Well, most celebrities were pretty based on Ukraine. Like, most people just kind of, even most Americans kind of fell into the correct position on Ukraine because Russia is kind of unanimously known as being the bad guys. Here in America, you're kind of taught that Israel is the good guys. There also isn't any good side in this conflict, like, in terms of who's fighting who. It's just the civilians that are the good guys, so to say. And even they aren't necessarily morally good. They're just not deserving of death, and they deserve to not be in the crossfire. Obviously, there's pretty, substantial support for Hamas among Palestinian civilian populations, but that doesn't mean they are as deserving of being hurt by conflict as active Hamas, fighters. And the same goes for in Israel. The support for the IDF among Israeli citizens is extraordinarily high. Israeli citizens are extremely racist against Palestinians, too, including Gen Z. Gen Z Israelis, very, very racist against Palestinians. So, but that doesn't mean they deserve to be caught in the crossfire of this war. This conflict. It's not even a war. It's hard to even call it a war. Big Joel tweet? What's this? What do you got for me? However, there were plenty of valid reasons to be against the US during that time. What matters in the long run is what people are actually hyped up for, war or understanding. Yeah. Learning that Benjamin Netanyahu actively supported Hamas in order to undermine Palestine is so extraordinarily horrifying. I don't know what to say. Effectively, Netanyahu's entire worldview collapsed over the course of a single day. He was convinced that he could make deals with corrupt Arab tyrants while ignoring the cornerstone of the Arab-Jewish conflict, the Palestinians. His life's work was to turn the ship of state from the course steered by his predecessors. Anyone who wants to thwart the establishment of a Palestinian state has to support bolstering Hamas and transferring money to Hamas. He told a meeting of... This is part of our strategy, to isolate the Palestinians in Gaza from the Palestinians in the West Bank. Something they did. They cut them off. That's why I was confused about what the total population is. They've created... They cut them off from each other with the expansion of these settlements. That's literally a pro-Israel, like, a passage from a pro-Israel publication, by the way. So, you can hear in the way they choose to use certain words, like how biased it is. You were talking... Yeah, I know. I saw you were talking about 9/11. I read your message before, yeah. Very, very depressing stuff. Very depressing stuff.